The Epstein timeline. Stacey Plaskett cannot escape the continuous scrutiny over Jeffrey Epstein began with a simple introduction. A concerned wife of the VI. For Delegate Stacey Plaskett, the continuous scrutiny over Jeffrey Epstein did not begin with a new criminal charge, a new lawsuit, or a new court finding. It started with support. In November 2025, newly released Epstein estate documents showed that Epstein appeared to be texting with a member of Congress during the February 27, 2019 Michael Cohen hearing. A Washington Post analysis matched the redacted messages to Plaskett by comparing the message timestamps with video from the hearing. The Guardian later reported the same basic finding, noting that the records suggested Epstein may have influenced the lawmakers' questioning. The Guardian. But the story does not begin in 2019. It stretches back years through campaign donations, political introductions, a New York meeting, civil litigation, a failed censure effort, and Plaskett's repeated insistence that she did not enable Epstein's crimes. The early connection. According to WTJX's timeline, Plaskett served as general counsel for the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authority from 2007 to 2012. During a broader period from 1999 to 2012, Epstein's financial trust company received major tax benefits from the VI Economic Development Authority. That fact has drawn scrutiny because of Plaskett's later political relationship with Epstein, but Plaskett has denied that she personally granted or renewed Epstein's tax benefits. In a 2026 statement reported by OCCRP, she said she was not at EDA when the certificate was initially granted or renewed, and said it would have been impossible for her to have given Epstein those benefits. WTJX News Feed. WTJX reported that Plaskett testified in a May 2023 deposition that she first met Epstein during her 2012 congressional campaign, when attorney Erica Kellerholz introduced him as a possible donor. Plaskett later worked for Kellerholz Ferguson Croblan PLLC from 2013 to 2014, and according to WTJX's reporting on her deposition, she stated that Epstein was a client of the firm at that time. WTJX News Feed. That matters because it places Epstein not simply in the background of Virgin Islands politics, but near the early stages of Plaskett's rise in elected office. The campaign money. The clearest documented link is money. WTJX reported that in June 2014, then First Lady Cecile de Jong emailed Epstein asking him to help Plaskett's campaign and to see whether his friends would contribute. In that email, de Jong reportedly wrote that Plaskett's opponent needs to be defeated and that we would have a friend in Stacey. WTJX further reported that Epstein said he would have several employees donate maximum amounts, and those employees gave $10,400. WTJX News Feed. Plaskett won the Democratic primary on August 2, 2014. The donations did not end there. WTJX reported that Epstein personally gave Plaskett's campaign $5,400 in 2016 and $2,700 in 2018, for a total of $8,100 from Epstein himself. WTJX also reported, based on deposition material, that Epstein and 4 affiliates donated more than $30,000 to Plaskett's campaigns between 2014 and 2020. WTJX News Feed. This is where the public question becomes sharper. The issue is not only whether Plaskett knew Epstein, it is whether Epstein and his circle saw political value in supporting her. The 2018 meeting. The next major moment came in September 2018. According to WTJX, text messages and deposition testimony showed that Plaskett planned to meet Epstein when she arrived in New York. WTJX reported that Plaskett later confirmed this was the same meeting discussed in her deposition, and that she recalled discussing Virgin Islands politics, national politics, and campaign contributions with Epstein at his New York home. WTJX News Feed. This meeting took place before Epstein's July 2019 federal arrest, but after his 2008 Florida conviction. Epstein had pleaded guilty in 2008 to soliciting prostitution from a minor as part of a plea agreement. WTJX News Feed. That distinction matters. Epstein had not yet been federally charged in the 2019 sex trafficking case, but he was already a convicted sex offender. The hearing texts. Then came February 27, 2019. Michael Cohen, former attorney and fixer for Donald Trump, was testifying before the House Oversight Committee. During that hearing, Epstein texted with a lawmaker whose name was redacted in the released records. The Washington Post analyzed the timestamps and hearing footage and identified the lawmaker as Plaskett. The Guardian reported that the exchange included Epstein pointing to Rona Graff, Trump's former executive assistant, after Cohen mentioned her. The Guardian. ABC News later reported that Plaskett confirmed the record of the exchange during her defense on the House floor, while disputing the framing that she needed Epstein's advice. She said she was receiving texts from many people during the hearing and that Epstein, who owned property in the Virgin Islands, was one of them. ABC News. Her defense was straightforward. She said she was trying to get information. I believed that Jeffrey Epstein had information and I was going to get information to get at the truth, Plaskett told CNN, according to ABC News. She also said that as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you can. ABC News. But critics saw something different. To them, the texts were not just information gathering. They looked like real-time coordination with a convicted sex offender during an official congressional hearing. Epstein's arrest and the donation reversal. In July 2019, Epstein was arrested on federal sex trafficking and conspiracy charges. He died in federal custody on August 10, 2019 before trial. His death was ruled a suicide. WTJX News Feed. After Epstein's arrest, Plaskett faced questions about his campaign contributions. WTJX reported that on July 8, 2019, a spokesperson said he was pretty sure Plaskett would not return the Epstein donation. The next day, Plaskett announced she would donate an amount equal to Epstein's contributions to Virgin Islands organizations serving women and children. WTJX News Feed. In her 2026 video statement, reported by OCCRP, Plaskett said that once the details of Epstein's crimes were exposed, she gave the money to women's organizations in the Virgin Islands. OCCRP also reported that she acknowledged texting Epstein during the Cohen hearing and conceded that even texting with that man was a bad idea. OCCRP. That admission may be the most politically damaging part of her own defense. She does not say the texts were fake. She says they were a mistake. The civil lawsuit. The most serious allegations against Plaskett came in a civil lawsuit filed in November 2023 by women identified as Jane Does. The lawsuit alleged that several current and former Virgin Islands officials helped make the territory a safe haven for Epstein's sex trafficking operation. Those allegations were civil claims, not criminal charges, and they were not proven at trial. Justicia Law. In March 2025, U.S. District Judge Aaron Subramanian dismissed claims against several defendants, including claims against Plaskett in her official capacity and the RICO claim against her. However, the judge allowed other individual capacity claims against Plaskett to proceed at that stage. Justicia Law. By August 2025, the case against Plaskett was voluntarily dismissed with prejudice, meaning it could not be refiled. St. Thomas source reported that the dismissal ended nearly 2 years of litigation, and the Virgin Islands Consortium reported that the dismissal brought the case against Plaskett to a permanent close without trial. St. Thomas source. Plaskett later said the claims were entirely baseless and that no settlement payment was made. The Virgin Islands Consortium reported that her statement said the dismissal showed she had no involvement in Epstein's disgusting and abhorrent activities. The Virgin Islands Consortium. That is an important legal point. The lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice, but the dismissal was not the same thing as a trial verdict proving or disproving every allegation. Legally, the case against Plaskett ended in her favor, but it ended without a trial, so there was no final courtroom decision proving or disproving the allegations. The Censure Fight. The controversy exploded again in November 2025 after the Epstein estate documents became public. House Republicans introduced H.R.A.'s 888 to censure Plaskett and remove her from the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. The resolution accused her of inappropriate coordination with Epstein during the 2019 Cohen hearing. The text of the resolution alleged that she was actively coached by Epstein and that her conduct reflected discreditably on the House, Congress, Gov. But the resolution failed. According to the official House clerk vote record, the House rejected the measure on November 18, 2025, by a vote of 209 yeas, 214 nays, 3 present and 7 not voting. Office of the Clerk. ABC News reported that the House voted against censuring and condemning Plaskett and removing her from the Intelligence Committee over the Epstein texts. The Washington Post reported that the Republican effort failed after a late-night vote, while Democrats argued the effort was politically motivated. ABC News. So the political punishment failed, but the controversy did not go away. What is proven, what is alleged, and what is still unanswered? Here is what the public record shows. Epstein and his circle financially supported Plaskett's campaigns. Plaskett met with Epstein. She texted with him during a congressional hearing. She later donated money equal to his contributions. She was sued by Jane Doe plaintiffs in a civil case. The remaining claims against her were dismissed with prejudice, and a House censure effort against her failed. WTJX News Feed. Here is what has not been proven in court: that Plaskett knowingly helped Epstein's trafficking operation, that she participated in his crimes, or that the allegations in the Jane Doe lawsuit were true. Those remain allegations, and the case ended without a trial. Just law. But here is the political reality. Even without a criminal charge or trial finding against her, the timeline raises serious questions about judgment, access, and political proximity. Why did Epstein's circle see Plaskett as someone worth helping? Why was Epstein still a source of information for her in 2019? Why did the text exchange happen during an official congressional hearing? And why did it take document releases years later for the public to fully see the scope of those communications? Those questions are not the same as a conviction. They are not proof of criminal wrongdoing. But in public life, especially in the Virgin Islands, where Epstein owned property and where his crimes left a deep shadow, they are questions voters are allowed to ask. And Plaskett will likely have to keep answering them. A concerned wife of the VI. Subscribe to receive more updates on VI-related matters like these.